Hey Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for Spiegel Mom Scraps to share with you my last project for the month of June. So if you want to see more of my projects, be sure to come back in July on Thursdays. That is the layout that I created, and those are the sequins that I used, Tropical Breeze and In Your Dreams. And if you use the code Suzanna with a Z 15, you can save yourself 15% off over on the store. So this layout is created using one of my scrap room kits using the Bo Bunny collection called Early Bird, and really the bulk of the layout using the collection is actually the die cuts and the embellishments that I got in the kit, and the rest of it is it's the same die cut from Page, and I used some of my creamies from Shimmers to watercolor or color in the die cut. And you can see that I had already done a few bits of the die cut that's to the top right there. I wanted to try it out before I started filming, and so that's what that is on the right there. The olive color, that circle around the picture of myself, is a not silhouette, it's a die cut that I ran through my Big Kick, and it is I can't think of the company's name, but it does begin with an S, and so I used that as a circle that it is juxtaposed by the doily as the other circle, and the doily comes in the kit. And unfortunately, the inner part of the circle, well, not unfortunately, but the inner part of the doily is just as almost transparent as the rest of the doily, which I wanted something a little bit more solid, so I just used my Big Shot and cut a circle to go in the center of that. So I have various different colors of the creamies, and I tried to use the colors that were in the Bo Bunny collection to just color in a couple of the flowers and the leaves to coordinate with the pattern paper there. So I cut the die cut twice and the digital die cut, and then I'm using creamies as well as that is Nouveau, that is embellishment mousse, that I just smushed in with my finger, and then I'm going to use that watercolor there, that's my koi watercolor, and use that for the olive color because I don't have anything in Shimmers or the Nouveau that coordinates with that green. That's that same green that the oval, not the oval, the circular wreath that the photo is in. I wanted just a couple of pieces to coordinate with that. And I did speed this up fairly quickly because you did not need to see me paint through all of this. It's literally dip your brush, paint, clean off your brush, find a new color, and so on and so forth. And I really didn't want to bore you to death with that. So again, I just chose the colors that were in the collection. I used, what were the creamies I used? Trippin' in the Tropics and Good Old Summertime were the creamies colors that I used, and then the koi watercolor paints and the Nouveau embellishment mousse. And that is what I used to color those flowers to coordinate with the flowers that I will put on that are die cuts. And the way that I integrate Spiegel Mom Scraps into this layout is I actually just used those two sequence mixes as pops of color and some shimmer to my layout, and that will come at the end of this layout. So to add a little bit more color to the doily, I am using some May Arts jute, or it's not twine, it's really more of a jute because it's more of a rougher finish to the thread, and I'm going every other hole in the doily and just doing a running stitch to add that splash of yellow, and then that frames the circle of cardstock that I'm going to put in the middle very nicely to just kind of finish that off. And by tying a bow from the ends, again, adds a little bit of texture to the layout as well as some movement. It is hard to tie twine and jute, and I have found my secret is that if you actually tie it upside down, the strands of the twine and or the jute then fall the right way, just as a tip there. So I wanted to incorporate a little bit more of the pattern paper into the layout, and so I used this particular piece right here to just frame the photo, and I like the way that in the busyness of that leaf wreath, the color around it pops the photo in the busyness of the layout there. Can you see how it kind of pops the photo? It gives it a little bit more definition. So there's all the main elements, and now it's just time to really embellish the layout there. The white cardstock that I used was not smooth. It's actually a textured cardstock, and I wanted to make sure that the direction of the cardstock went in the direction that the journaling that I end up handwriting in there is going to go. So I want to hide some of the white and hide some of the texture of these digital cut files, but I want to leave enough showing that you can see the detail and sort of unite everything together. I did leave some of the leaves white. I didn't want everything to be colored because that was too much color. I just wanted a subtle splash of color in those digital cut files, because you can see how these die cut elements that I'm going to use from the Bo Bunny collection really kind of pop the color there and tie everything in together. I had that banner that I wanted to incorporate into the layout somehow, but that gets tossed aside, and you see that little blue bird. I wanted to use that as well, but proportionally the bird was much smaller than the flowers, which is typically not what happens, so that got cast aside. And I had cut these leaves out of some green cardstock that did not come with the kit. That is just my own adding. It was a similar hue to the hue that are the leaves in the wreath. And I will just use a few of those, and again for just a splash of green and a little bit of texture there. I have some thread, and I wanted to put a thread ball in, and I really liked the same color. It's sort of an aqua-y green, and I'm going to put that, I'm going to try it behind the flowers up the top, and I'm going to end up sticking it in the flowers down the bottom. At first I thought it was too dark, so I went with the pink, but the pink really gets lost and you don't see that it's there, which isn't bad. It's a subtle look, but I really wanted it to be a little bit more, to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to commit to these circular layers, the die cut, and use my ATG to adhere some of the elements, but then I'm going to resort to using my Prima glue pen to see right there, some of those finer elements down so that you don't see the adhesive sticking through the digital cut file there. So again, this is Suzanna here for Spiegel Mom Scraps, and no, I haven't used anything from the Spiegel Mom Scraps store yet. I wanted to get the bulk of this layout completed before I actually put the sequins in, as they are going to be the finishing touches for the layout. This is a picture of myself. It's a selfie, and I just ended up journaling about myself, just a little bit about myself and where I am in life right now, not in any great detail, and the title of the layout therefore becomes simply me. I am doing a traveler's notebook of myself, and I had originally taken this picture to document that my phone currently is an 8+, and I tried titling it 8+, but there's something about the floral in the layout that I really, it just didn't work. So what started off as the original theme of my layout went down a completely different path than what I had set out to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You are free to, you are the artist, and you are free to decide and design according to what works for you. And so that's how I meandered off down a different path, and the title of this layout became Simply Me, and just a little bit about myself currently. So the bow on the jute didn't quite sit the way that I wanted it to. So by using just a subtle blob of quick dry adhesive behind the bow, I was able to get it to settle the way that I wanted it to. So here's that thread ball, as I am wanting to call them, and I struggled with where that was going to go, and I actually really like it there because those particular flowers, which are the die cuts, are they're a little bit brighter and more striking in color than the watercolored flowers, and so that was perfect there. So these are the two Spiegel Mom Scraps color mixes that I'm using. I have In Your Dreams and Tropical Breeze, and I think that both of these collections were made to go with this Bow Bunny collection called Early Bird. I know that Jody uses color palettes from collections oftentimes to create some of her mixes, and I have no idea if these were actually designed to go with this Bow Bunny collection, but they really are perfect. So I'm just taking a mix of the darker colors and lighter colors and splashing them around the page. I have a trio that I've created, and that trio goes through those darker teals and creates a triangle in the picture there. I'm just using my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive to adhere this sequins down, and that is going to be the layout done. I just need to title it, and I did struggle with the title. You can see I started with these letters and I started with 8+, and this is where I changed my mind. I don't like how that looks. And so I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to go down a completely different path and use some different stickers all together. Those of you who watch my videos know that I normally do a thumbs up at the end. This is going to be the only video where I don't do a thumbs up so far anyway, because I got stumped with the title and ended up changing my mind. So this will end title-less, but I will go ahead and do that after, when I sort of calm down a little bit and figure out where I'm going to take this, and that then dictates what the journaling is going to be, and you will see the journaling in the close-ups. So again, Suzanna 15 is the discount code if you decide to go shopping. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them if you just leave them in the box below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.